Hey, how y'all doing? Welcome to another Chronicles of a Landlord. I want to shout out to all my subscribers at 2653. And so today we're going to talk about wholesalers and JVing. That's joint ventures. Y'all check out all of my check out all of my other videos. I got a couple of thousand views. Y'all check out my podcast coming up. I'm probably going to do like another 3 or 4. Y'all check out my David Shan's video. It's really informative. Y'all check out his YouTube channel as well, Sleeping for Suckers. And let's get started to my story. So I started wholesaling in 2018. I got a house under contract for like $25,000. Usually I would either get the house at the auction or on the MLS. So I started door knocking and I got a house under contract for $25,000. I was trying to get a hard money lender, but they kept on denying me. And then when I finally was like, okay, let me wholesale it, I could have made $25,000. The seller got another buyer and sold it for $50,000. So at that point, I was like, okay. I started reaching out to other wholesalers, and the other wholesalers was like, hey, get a memorandum. They can't sell it to another person. You're gonna put like a lien on the title, and then when they try to sell it again to somebody else, they can't, they gotta sell it to you. So I put that in my repertoire. So, but I had a problem with buyers. I didn't have a strong buyers list, and I got this house on a contract through my lawyer. She told me that it was these brothers that are selling the house in like the 5th Ward area. And I was like, okay, so I went to go talk to them. They wanted like, I think they wanted $45,000 for it. But the ARV was like the ARV I think was like 140, 160. So I got it on the contract, and then he was telling me about another property in north downtown. So I was like, okay, well, I think I wanted to keep it, but I was kind of unsure. So I got my hard money. He was a private hard money lender. I got him to buy the property. It took like forever to close. It took like 6 months or something like that. And we finally brought it. I didn't want him to know I was just going to sell it again. Like my funds got kind of tied up because I was working on like 2 other properties. So when I finally was available to rehab that one, my funds got kind of really tight. So I decided to wholesale it. And so I put a big old Mario buy houses in front of the house. So I kind of just sat back. I was hitting up other wholesalers. I was calling like all the signs, like so-and-so buys houses. And then so this guy named Eugene finally calls me like, I want to say a week or 2 after we bought it. And then he was like, hey, I got a buyer for your house. I was like, okay, cool. He never asked me to sign a contract. He never asked me to do anything. He just was like, I was like, okay, we have it at this title company. We already cleared up title. And he was like, okay, cool. So we JV'd it. That's joint venture. I think we went half on like, I want to say 15,000. I think I made like 75 and he made 75. So it was great. So then I run into this, and then so now the brothers, now they're ready to sell the other house. It took a little bit of time for that house as well. We bought that house. I wanted it really, 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 really bad. It was in North Downtown, a really, really popping area, really close to University of Houston downtown. It's pretty much downtown. So once again, this is 2019. I'm working on like a flip, a refinance, other wholesale deals, and my money gets tied up. So I'm like, okay, cool. So I couldn't find a buyer, so I go to the auction, and so let me rewind a little bit. So before I wholesaled that house, I wholesaled another house with Eugene. I made $6,000. I think he made like 4. That was a split. Like everything with Eugene was great. Like we had a great relationship. I think I did those 2 deals. So I thought everybody was going to be a stand-up guy like him that I was coming across. Not everybody, but, you know, I thought people were going to be about their business. So I go to the auction. I got the two properties I have in the contract. I got the property that I bought for $1,000. I didn't flip that one yet. And then I had that one that I have that I bought in North Downtown. So this guy named Seymour, he's like, hey man, I got a buyer for that house. He was talking about the one that I flipped for, that I got in the contract, that I bought for $1,000. So he was focused on that house. And then he was like, the whole time I was there, I think I was there from 10 to 2, I think, because the auction starts at like 8 or 9, and then it's till like 2 o'clock. So I was there until it was over. The whole time he's like telling me like he got all these buyers. He's like, man, they're Asian. He got this one lady, she like, she has to meet this quarter every month. She has to buy $500,000 worth of house every month. He said he's fooling with this girl named Misty. She has a rehab company, and she has these seminars with all these investors every month, and she has all these buyers, and they know all these people that got all this money. He said he made $30,000 a month, and I was just like, okay. So he showed me the text message. He's already texting one of his buyers already. He's already like, hey, look, I got this buyer right here. And I'm just like, okay, cool. I'm like, I'm like, I already opened up title. I think the title is almost clear. Send the buyer over and then we'll go half or whatever. And he was like, okay, cool. So he's like blowing me up. Like, he's like, man, I got a buyer. So we bring his buyer, we meet up at the property. He brings his buyer. His buyer doesn't want it. Another guy that I met at the auction, he was trying to JV with me. He brought a buyer. The buyer was like, it needed all this rehab. And so none of the buyers wanted. So I was like, so I think 3 months already transpired. I was like, hey, look, I'll give you $1,000 cash and then I'll help you move. And then he got mad, and then he later called me up later that day and he agreed, and then I got him a contract. I took over the payments, and then we ended up flipping the house, and then I made like, I think 20-something thousand. I forgot how much I made. You just go look at that house. It's the one that I bought for $1,000. That was, that went pretty smoothly. And so he was like, hey, look, I got a buyer for the other house. And at this point, I'm kind of skeptical. I'm just like, man, like, you didn't really come through the last property. Like, what makes you think that you're going to come through with this property? And he's like, so I get my realtor to put the house on the market. Nobody bites. 2 weeks transpired. I had the property for like a month, and I think we bought the property for like, I want to say $90,000. So my hard money payment was coming up. That was like $1,350. And I'm just like getting kind of desperate. I'm just like, dang, I need to find a buyer. And then the rehab was going to be like 20, 40, 50,000. So I didn't really want to do all that. I just wanted to find a buyer. And this wasn't Houston's market in 2021. This is Houston's market in 2019. So like, people wasn't buying 10,000 or 20,000. You had all these buyers, and you had all these people coming from California buying up the properties, and COVID didn't happen yet. So people wasn't buying properties like crazy. Like, interest rates wasn't 1.9, 2.9. It wasn't that low then. So like, you had to be like a real, and then that was another, if you rehab that property, you were in another tax bracket, because the house was going to be, I was going to have to sell the house for like over $300,000. That's another tax bracket. So I wasn't guaranteed like somebody was just going to come and buy that property like in a week or two, like my other properties that I flipped. So he was like, man, look, I'll just text Misty and blah, blah, blah. And so I'm like, okay, cool. Like, let's JV this property. And then he was like, really adamant about getting a property under contract with him. And I was just like, man, I JV before, you don't have to do that. And he was just like, man, look, I got a buyer. And I'm like, okay, fine. So I think I signed a contract. and the house was under contract for like a month. And then like a couple of days later, he went to that Grant Cardone seminar in Vegas. And I'm just like he would go right now when this payment is coming up, and like, I kind of questioned his like work ethic at that point. Like, you trying to go and like talk to people, other real estate people, or you trying to get money? Like, what are you doing? Like, if that was me, I would have canceled. I would have been concentrated on getting a buyer. So, or supposedly he had a buyer. So with that house, he was advid about taking it to another title company. He was like, hey, we need to take it to my title company. He was like, whenever I sell my properties, I make my buyers put down $5,000 of earnest money. That means that if they don't come through for whatever reason, you get to keep that $5,000, and that's pretty much a wholesale deal in itself. So if you don't find a buyer, you at least have that $5,000. And so he's like texting me, we're texting each other, right? And he comes back. So I'm still texting, other wholesalers are still texting me about that house. So I'm like talking to him, and other guys are like, hey man, two other guys were like, I got a buyer. This one guy, he was like, I gotta go half with him and his realtor. And I was like, man, I'm not doing that. Like, if we go half, your half, you're splitting with your realtor. My half is my half. Like, I'm not doing that. And then this other guy was like, I got another buyer, but he didn't like Misty, the guy that Seymour was affiliated with. So he wanted me to get the house under contract with him, and I was like, man, I kind of got under contract with this other guy. So I called Seymour and I was like, hey, look, man, this other guy got a buyer. You kind of like take your time. And he was like, Mario, if you do this, then we can't do no other houses in the future. And I thought I needed this guy. I don't know why I thought I needed this guy, but I thought I needed this guy. So I kind of just waited. I kind of waited a little bit on him. And then I want to say a week later, Michael was like, hey, look, I got a buyer. This guy found the house under the MLS when I did post it. He has a buyer. He's buying up houses in that area. So this guy, at this point, Seymour is reassuring me that he had a buyer and we're going to close like on Thursday. And like the rule of thumb of wholesaling is like, you close as soon as possible. You never know what the seller's going to do. The seller might try to sell it to somebody else. Something might happen to the title. Something might happen to the house. It floods all the time in Houston. Like, you get off the property as soon as possible. As soon as you got a buyer, you sell that property. You don't want to like take any risk to get more money somewhere else. Or so I was like, okay. I told my realtor, I was like, hey, look, I'm supposed to close Thursday. And then so that buyer was like, hey, look, if he drags his feet, the price amount is going to be lower, so it's not going to be $110 anymore. And then plus the guy was like, that realtor, his fee was $6,000, and that was like non-negotiable. And I was just like, dang, like that's a lot of money. Like, so I got to split some money with my realtor, and I got to split some money. Well, my realtor was taking a flat fee of $1,000. And so I had to split that with my realtor, and then I split that some more money with my other realtor, and then my lender was gonna get his fee, and I'm just like, dang, like, you know, my money's just shrinking. So I'm still waiting on Seymour. And I was talking to him, and then he was like, we can close Saturday. Because I think Wednesday or Thursday came up. And then when he said Saturday, I was done with him. I was like, all right, this dude's like lying. Like, he's texting me. He's not responding. I mean, he's not texting me back no more. He's not responding. Then he would email me and be like, I'm sick. That's why I didn't answer your phone call. It was just all these smoke and mirrors. Like, I was transparent with him. I told him I was paying on a hard money loan and I needed to get off this property as soon as possible. And he was giving me the runaround, like me, because I really thought about like what would I have done if I was Seymour. And I would have been like, hey, look, man, I had a buyer, he pulled out. I would have apologized for wasting his time, and hopefully we could do a property in the future or whatever, or no hard feelings. But he wasn't mad enough to tell me like, hey, look, I don't have a buyer. He pulled out. Because I was asking him about the earnest money, and I was like, okay, where's that title company located so I could go pick up that earnest money? Everything was like smoke and mirrors. So at this point, I'm pretty livid because now I got to go with Michael's guy and my realtor's guy, and I lost like $8,000 at this point because I had to split that money with that realtor. And then my title company, they had a tax exemption on those two properties, the one in Fifth Ward and then that one in North Downtown, because their father just died. And after that first property, they told the seller, hey, look, y'all need to take that tax exemption off because y'all got to pay these taxes. And I didn't know this. If I would have knew this, I would have opened up title at another title company. So they made me pay the taxes. The taxes was like, they had to put like $15,000 in reserve for the taxes. They didn't have to, but that's what they did. So at this point, I'm not making any money on this property. When I first purchased the property, my lender gave me $8,000 for the rehab, so I was already in the green with $8,000, and then I was supposed to have made like another probably like 10 or 15. So I probably would have made like $20,000 if I would have originally went with the realtor before I dragged my feet, and then he was like, okay, well, I'm taking off $6,000 because you're taking too long, and I'm buying other properties, and I ain't got time for games. I'm actually an adult. I'm not like your other wholesaler. But he didn't say that, but I'm just speculating in my head what he was saying. So I think I lost at least over $10,000 because the taxes, what I had to pay to the realtor, and then like at this point I was just so mad, but like it was just a lesson learned. At this, like I'm probably never gonna do a JV again unless somebody has the seller and I have the buyer. So if you're in Houston, Texas, this guy's a realtor. He has his realtor license. He's from Florida. His name is Seymour. I will post his picture, but a lot of people told me I shouldn't, that he might flag my video, and then I might have to take this video down. So I was thinking about posting a picture with the video with his picture in it and then having another backup one, but I'm not gonna do that because everybody told me not to do that, because this guy is just like, he's just a boy. Just a boy. He's not a man. He's a kid. His name is Seymour. He's black. He's a realtor. He's like short, kind of pudgy. So if you see this guy, like just run, because he's just a moron. He don't have a heart. He's not a stand-up guy. He's just out here just playing with people's emotions, and with business, like you don't play with people. Like you keep everything business. You keep everything, like you got to keep your scruples. You got to keep emotion out, and you just got to do everything by the book and stand up. And that guy has none of those qualities. He's just a bad person. So that's my story. If y'all see that guy, y'all run. Check out my affiliate links. I got a Chase one, I got a SoFi one. If this video gets 100 likes, I'm gonna give out another $100. I have some more affiliates with Webull, M1 Finance, and I think Public. Y'all have a nice day. Y'all have a nice day, bye.